Hi, what's up guys? Today's another episode for the BRZ. Today we got the rear brakes and front brakes back from ZZ Powder Coating, and we're gonna try and throw them on. Alright, so I have all the parts laid out. I've got the rear rotors, front rotors, all the calipers. I did the, if you look at the brand new STIs, the 6-piston calipers, they come in like this neon yellow color. So me and Zach over at ZZ Powder Coating matched it as close as possible with this. So all of them are powder coated. These aren't stickers. This is all powder coated Brembo on them. Same with the rears right here. So then after the Brembo stuff, I went with Stop Tech for everything. So Stop Tech front rotors, Stop Tech rear rotors. There's sport pads for front and rear. I've read up on them. They're perfectly fine for daily use, and then also they're semi-aggressive for the track. So even if I did want to put their track pads in, all it is as simple as just pulling the 2 pins, swapping the pads out. So if I want to upgrade to the more aggressive pad setup, I can still do that. For the rear calipers, I had to get the Torque Solution adapter brackets, so it comes with all the hardware and everything right here. The most annoying part out of all of this is probably going to be that the rear rotors are off of an 08 up STI, so that means that they're 5x114. The BRZ is 5x100, so I have to re-drill these to a 5x100, so that's going to be the most annoying part. The fronts are off of an 04 STI, which are 5x100, so those should just technically bolt right on. So first what we're going to do is that I already have the rear of the car jacked up. We're going to do the hard one first with the drilling. And we're going to start mocking things up. Alright, so right now Matt's taking apart that side. I'm going to go ahead and start doing the other side. But I forgot, I've had these ARP wheel studs sitting around for a long time, probably about a year now. I thought I ordered extended ones a while ago that I put in the front of the BRZ. And apparently they're just the short ones, and I never returned them. I thought, I could just use them at some point. So today's that some point, and we're going to put them on the rear. And then also, when you're doing wheel studs, if you don't have this wheel stud installer, it is a pain in the ass, but this thing makes it so much easier. I'll show you the process just with this installer when we get into doing it. Alright, so when Matt tries to get the adapter bracket on, I'm going to go ahead and start drilling these new rotors. So the parking brake area for the 04 and up STI is the same as the BRZ one, so these are the same. So now the only problem, like I said, is that these new rotors are 5x114. My current rotors are 5x100. So what I did is I just offset all the holes. So basically the 5x114 ones are right here, 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 and all the way around. So now I've got this lined up as good as I can, and I put a C-clamp on it just so it won't move around when I start drilling. So now I've got my drill bits. I'm just going to start drilling these holes.
Because, no, this one doesn't want to loosen.
Oh. Alright, so we're running into a small little problem. Well, not small, but problem with the Torque Solution mounts. I read on a review that they had to shave down kind of the powder coat and the brackets themselves in order to get them to fit in between the knuckle itself, and then that also the thread holes for right here and right here don't line up 100% exactly with the new hardware. So we're actually running into the same problem. They didn't want to fit into this groove right here. Let's see if I can see it. So you can see the bracket goes in between the knuckle right there, and that's not fitting, so we have to keep on grinding that down. Matt finally ground it down enough that it fits, but now the problem is just like what the review said, that the bolt holes for this and this lower one don't line up 100%. So now we got to go, and what the guy did is that he drilled out both of these holes just a little bit more, and he had the wiggle room to get the bolts to thread in. So those were the only issues that the guy had, so we're gonna have to go ahead and do that. But then I finished drilling out this one. So now I've got the 5x100 all the way around. Now I just got to clean up the rotor. We're gonna do the drilling on that side, and then I'm gonna have Matt start putting this side completely together while I drill out the other rotor. Alright, so this is all the grinding that Matt had to do. We had to grind down right in there. For some reason there was some type of weird ridge. Let me see if I have the other one somewhere over here.
The other bracket?
Yeah, where's the other bracket? So this one, let me get it to focus, if it will. There we go. This one doesn't have any type of ridge in there. this one you can see that weird like half circle ridge. So that's kind of some of what's preventing it from going on. So Matt had to just grind that down. He said he still has a little bit more grinding to do, and then we got to drill out that knuckle. So Matt's outside right now ordering some pizza. What I just did is I just drilled these holes out just a little bit more, just a tiny bit. We didn't need it we didn't need that much space to do it, so that should be enough. Hopefully it is, because that's the drill bit. That's the biggest drill bit I have. That's the one I just used to drill those out. So hopefully it fits. Okay, so Matt grinding it down more and me drilling out these holes just a little bit made it fit. So now that's 100% on. Now the next thing that has to happen is that the rotor is a bigger diameter. So this piece of the, I'll just call it the rotor shroud, the dust shroud, has to come off. So what we're going to do is that we're just going to cut it right on this line right here, all the way around to the bottom. Just so then, right now if I try and put that rotor on, the rotor contacts this immediately. So we just got to cut it all the way down to here, and then we'll be good to go. Alright, so now I just cut that off. Now it just goes all the way around. We got Matt over there drilling the holes. So now I could just show you, if I go to put this on, now the rotor fits right on. So now we don't have anything hitting. We can get the caliper on now, and this side will just about be good to go. Alright, so I almost went and started bolting all this stuff on before replacing the studs. I forgot I was going to replace the studs. So these are as simple as I just got my sledgehammer right here. I'm just going to knock one of these out at a time just so I can still rotate it. Knock one out at a time. Right here is the area where I can feed it in and out. So I'm going to knock one out, get a new one in, tighten it all the way down, work my way around. Alright, so I've got the first stud out right here. All you got to do, like I said, is just hammer them out. This one I just fed in through the back here, so it's still loose. So now the stud installer just slides right over it. Let's see if I can do this one hand. Slides right over it, and then you just get either just like one of your like wheel lug nuts, or I'm not going to ruin one of the NRG ones, so I'm just going to use this random one I have from a spacer, and you just thread it on. And then what you do is that you just hold over here with a pry bar, and you just tighten that down with a ratchet and a 19 on it. Alright, so some people use an impact gun on these. I wouldn't recommend it because the bearings on the inside can get either just break or they just come loose. We actually had one at my job that actually failed because people used an impact gun on it instead of just using a wrench. So I definitely recommend just using either a wrench or just a ratchet just to get these things in. Alright, so I got all the studs on. These studs are probably like maybe 5 to 8 millimeters longer than these original studs. So I can't really point out, but they're a little bit longer. Like I was running a 5 mil spacer on these just to make the rear wheels poke out just a little bit more because I have slightly stretched tires on them now. So the 5 mil on those studs weren't bad, but not ideal. So these ones luckily are a little bit longer, so it won't be as sketchy. Alright, so now basically what we just have to do now is we're going to throw that rotor on. I'll adjust the e-brake, and I'll start bolting on that caliper, and I still have to take the old caliper off with the line and put the line on the new caliper. So let's do that, and then we can throw the pads on, and this side's all set, and then we could work on the other side. Alright, so I've got the caliper on, I've got the rotor on, the new studs are in. I am absolutely in love with the color that these calipers are. So bright, so noticeable, and they look absolutely amazing. So now the next step is going to be to throw the pads in and get all the hardware for it. I have it all in that box right there. So I'm going to start sorting it all out and throwing the new pads in. Alright, so now I've got the new pads in. I got the little spring clip back on. I've got the 2 pins in. So this side, besides bleeding, is 100% done. So now we're actually working on the other side right now as we speak, and we gotta wait for one of the drill batteries to charge to finish up cutting that last rotor and drilling out the knuckle on that side. But this side is done besides bleeding, so now we could just focus on that side. Alright, so I've got Matt behind me putting the studs on that side. We're gonna have to call it a night after he's done with that because I need to buy some more cutoff wheels so I can do the other dust shield for the back. And also all of my drill batteries are dead, so we can't drill out the knuckle and finish drilling this rotor out. So for tonight, it's gonna be a wrap. We're gonna pick up the next day, finish up the rear, and then we'll start moving on the front, which will be more bolt-on. What's up, guys? Today's another day. It's actually 2 days after we started the brakes. We're gonna finish up the rear brakes today, and we're gonna move on to the front. The front should just be bolt-on. The rear, all I gotta do is just drill out a couple things, like I said just before, and we'll start doing the fronts. All right, so I just got the pads in. I got the retaining, kind of like the spring clip thing, just so the pads don't rattle around. I got that in. I got both the cotter pins attached on. So now I'm ready to bleed the rear brakes. We'll throw the wheels back on it, and then we'll start doing the front. All right, so I just got the car back on the ground. I got the wheels on it. Matt and I bled the brakes for the rear. So this, let me get my light. So this is what it looks like. I think it looks awesome. That's definitely how the BRZ should have came from the factory. So now let's go over to this side. There we go. You know, with the white faces and stuff, it's not extremely noticeable because I have 17s and they're 3-piece, so they kind of like, you know, sit in a little bit. But the nice neon yellow definitely sticks out. So now I'm gonna jack up the front, and I'm gonna start doing those. So right now I already have the ISC 6-piston front brake kit. It's like I'd consider it like a mild performance increase. The rotor is, you know, fairly thin. It's not nearly as thick as what the STi rotor is going to be, and the diameter of the rotor is almost the same. This is a little bit smaller than the STi one. Rotor size, well, I mean like pad size, I think these pads are a little bit thinner too, like thinner this way. This brake kit will bolt right onto my Impreza, so that's what this is going to be hand-me-down to the Impreza. It's easy setup. There's no adapter brackets for the Brembos. Everything should line up. I already mocked up the calipers before I sent them out to powder coating, so they should fit. So all I got to do is I got to break that caliper free off of the brake line right there. I'm going to grab the new caliper and the new banjo fitting I have, get that attached, and then we'll throw the rotor on and the caliper and so on. Alright, so I just got the rotor on. The caliper, I bolted the banjo bolt on. So now, literally the next step is just to bolt the caliper on, and we're going to throw the pads in. Alright, so I just got the new Stop Tech street pads in. The dude who I bought these STi calipers from bought brand new hardware, like brand new bolts for it, to go into the knuckle, brand new pins, brand new like the pad spring retainer, brand new everything. Even the bleeders he bought brand new. So like these are like completely refreshed, redone. So I shouldn't have any problems with anything on these, which I'm super excited for. So now this side's all set besides just needing to bleed it. So now I'm just gonna move on to the other side and knock that side out. Alright, so this side's back on. So basically all 4 corners are done. Matt and I just finished bleeding the brakes, so now I just got to clean up the rotor of the brake fluid that spilled onto them, and then throw the wheels back on and get this car back down on the ground. Alright, so I got the wheels back on, got it down on the ground. The Brembo brakes literally just fit in these 3-piece CCWs in a 17-inch. I can't really get a good view of it, but that right there sits pretty close to the back of the hardware for the 3-piece wheels. So they just fit. I spun the wheel around when it was up in the air. Nothing hits, so I'm not worried about that. But they look absolutely amazing. So excited with how they came out. They look absolutely amazing. And I can't wait to actually just feel like what they, how they perform like on the road and on the track. Alright, so that wraps up the BRZ brake upgrade video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give me a subscribe and a thumbs up. And next episode will probably be back with the front splitter. I need to coat it with some resin, sand that down a little bit, and then hopefully the splitter supports will actually be in so we can test with those. So until next time, see you later.